I'm here with Fernanda from Crypta. They're touring right now with an incredible package across North America. Hatebreed, Carcass, Harm's Way, and obviously them. So a package that you definitely don't want to miss. And I didn't want to miss your first time ever playing a show in Toronto. How does it feel to finally be here?
It feels great, like I've been to Canada before with my previous band Nervosa, and I remember that it was one of the coolest experiences, and I was dying to get a play here finally with Crypta. We tried to add in the other dates, but in the previous tours, but it was just not the easiest thing. But now it was cool enough just to be on this tour, but when I saw oh my God, my English is kind of not working today. Anyways, but when I saw the Canadian dates, I was like, yeah, I was really, really happy. Not only I have like good friends here, but I love the people, I love the audience, it shows, and the country. I'm just so happy to be here finally. And we played Montreal yesterday. It was really cool, and I have the highest of expectations for Toronto today. It's going to be fun.
The only thing I'm sad is that you guys, the planes are flying above. The only thing that I'm sad is that you guys played Montreal before Toronto, so I cannot say that this is your first ever show in Canada, but Montreal kind of doesn't count. So tonight is the first show in Canada.
Oh my God. People are always like with this,
Is the rivalry.
Yeah, the rivalry between cities. I'm always in between. I don't. Anyways, no, but it's the first time in Canada, and it feels great. And I'm sure Toronto is not going to disappoint. I'm sure of that.
I have to ask you this question because this has been on my mind for a very long time. When are we going to get a Beyonce cover on the set list?
Definitely not with Crypta. Unfortunately, I'm the only Beyonce fan in the band. All the other girls like other stuff that is not, like metal only necessarily. But also, one thing is one thing. The other thing is the other thing. I mean, everybody knows I like Beyonce and some other stuff, but I wouldn't cover Beyonce on stage. Although I know many people would love to see that, there's the people who call me posers because of that, but there's way more people who keep requesting me for Beyonce covers. Can guarantee that.
Maybe on a future EP, like a deep cuts EP where you throw in maybe a Destiny's Child cover if you don't want to go Beyonce.
Say my name.
I love it. See, you're already selling it. You really have to make it happen.
Yeah, I won't say that I haven't been practicing Beyonce go-to version when I'm showering, because I have.
Is that your go-to music in the shower, Beyonce?
Actually, when I'm showering, it can be anything. I'm always singing while I'm showering. It's either usually it's like me practicing vocals, overall, not only guttural. So sometimes I'll take a super high note from Beyonce or whatever song, and I'll be trying to reach it. And sometimes just gonna be trying a different technique for my screams. And either way, it can be very painful for whoever's sharing a room, a hotel room or whatever with me, because it's always going to be loud.
They're probably wondering what the fuck is happening in that shower. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, because it's never okay, I'm singing a full song. It's usually okay, which note do I want? Nah. So it's nah, ha, ha. I'm trying different ways of doing that, so it can be really annoying. But it's a singer's thing, I think.
As long as you're having fun, that's the most important part. And speaking of fun, this tour is just getting started, but it's an incredible package, like I said at the beginning of this chat. You guys are playing, obviously, these Canadian shows, but you're going to go back into the U.S. and play a lot of U.S. shows. When you're putting a set list together for a tour like this, considering that you've toured quite a bit in the U.S., what goes into your mind in terms of what you want to give the fans?
Yeah, I think I'm very picky when it comes to choosing set lists for specific tours, because I don't want Crypta is lucky, I think, in a way that our songs can be very varied, the style from it's all death metal, of course, but we have more aggressive songs and more melodic songs, and I think this variety of subgenres we put there in our music helps when adapting a set list for a specific tour. For instance, on we had chosen some songs to play here on this tour, but there were a lot of the very melodic songs like Stronghold and some other melodic songs, and then we played them on the first day, and I saw that like we have death metal fans on every night out there in the crowd on this tour, but there's also lots of hardcore fans and like hardcore beatdown and stuff like that. So I felt they were expecting something a little heavier. So the next day I was like, yeah, let's just add Trial of Traitors and try and add Under the Black Wings, like the more like aggressive, faster, more like headbanging material songs. And I think this is very important. I was thinking about this before the tour already. I was like, I think we might have to go with the like with the harder songs, and then we still opted to include some melodic ones. I was like, yeah, I tried it out, it didn't work the way we wanted. I was like, yeah, let's go for the hard songs. I think that's a good way. Like, of course you want to showcase like everything, especially on a tour like this where I'm pretty sure we're playing for more people that don't know the band that actually Crypta fans, like it's just like bigger crowds, and so of course we want to showcase like a little bit of everything the band is. But I think between showcasing what we are and like just giving what the fans might like more, I think that's the most efficient way of like connecting to the crowd. This is very important to me, like choosing whatever would fit best to each crowd.
By the way, going on what you just said about people coming and maybe discovering you guys on this tour, as I was struggling to find parking for my car outside, I met a guy who drove for 5 hours from Windsor all the way here just to see you guys.
Oh my God. I keep saying that. I don't want to brag, but I think we have the coolest fans, man. I'm about, actually, tomorrow is a day off, and I'll have a fresh mind for that. And I'm about to do a post that is specifically for our fans, because like we got the coolest fans. We had like, and where was that?
Well, I saw in Europe you got a bunch of gifts. Like, did you need extra suitcases for all of that?
We did. Seriously, we did. And I got like a plushie this size, and we got like tons of vinyls and stuff. And I keep everything because, like it's a form of love. Like just them coming to the show, it's love to me. Like they're showing. But with the gifts, it's just too cute. And gift is one of my forms of my love languages, so that truly means a lot to me. And so yeah, on this tour in Boston, there was a girl who traveled from Korea.
Korea. Okay, so 5 hours is nothing.
Exactly. I know it's still something, but that was crazy, and I was like, damn, that's how far they want to go to show support, and this is priceless. And we get a lot of hardcore, very dedicated, supportive fans here in Crypta, and that's amazing. Every time I hear a story like that, and that's why I make sure every night I go there to the merch table, and I do my own, like VIP session, because I just really like to be close to the fans and hearing this kind of stories, like hearing them talking about the crazy trips here to come to the show or whatever. I really like that. I'm just very thankful. It truly means a lot to me, because most of all, I'm a metalhead. Like I sing in a band. I've been touring, but before all that, I've always been a metalhead since I was a kid. Like because my dad is a metalhead and everything. So I know the feeling. Like I remember with my friends when we were teenagers, we would go to like venues, like in the city, but like 2.5 hours away from our homes, just because we wanted to see one band and come back. And I would sleep in line for shows. I did that for so many shows. Like I was sleeping 2 days in advance, like 1 day in advance. And I would sew like Brazilian flags with band logos on it. So I was a very dedicated metalhead too. So I know how this means to the fan, because I'm a fan too. So that's why I make sure whenever it's possible, that I show some love back, because this is too cool.
You mentioned about going to the merch stand, and that gentleman that drove 5 hours to come here, he was asking me, how come you guys are not doing VIP? Because he was like, I would love to meet them and talk to them and say hi, especially after doing a drive like that. So not doing the VIP, but doing this more informal thing. Is that your way of giving back, considering, like you said, you were a metalhead before?
Yes, exactly. Like it's still a thing in the band. We're still deciding about this VIP thing. I think it's very valid. Many bands are doing that. I just and of course I mean like we're a small band, you know, like comparing to all the other bands we play, and these bands, if they don't have like a VIP, it's impossible to for them to come to the merch sale because you know like lots of people will be there. So I think we're still at a point where we can do that, and so I think it's cool if we still can. I think that's cool, but that's just my personal view. I think I really like this kind of like closer interaction and just also hanging out, watching all the other bands, and people are buying all the special items that we have, like used bass string and like handwritten lyrics, and they're buying this because they like my work personally. You know, of course, there's stuff from the girls too. I'm talking about my specific souvenirs, and so I just want to be there and say like, hey, thank you so much for getting that.
That is, I mean, I think that is super cool, and the more you guys grow, the harder it's going to be.
Yeah.
And you guys have gotten to play with some big bands like Ghost, and now you're on tour with Hatebreed here. When you're playing with these bands, being a metalhead yourself, sometimes do you have to kind of pinch yourself that not only you're playing, but you're actually hanging out with these guys?
Yeah. Actually, on the first days of touring, like every time we're touring with bigger bands, and this comes since when I was in Nervosa, like I'm always so shy on the first days of touring because like I know I need to act professionally because you know like I'm here working, but at the same time I'm like I'm a metalhead, you know, like, and this person's my idol, like Carcass, man. Like, you know, like Jeff nowadays he's a friend, but still like every time I see him I'm like, yeah, it's so cool. And I got to talk to Bill's here for the first time ever one of these days. And I was so excited. Inside it was like trembling, but outside was like, yeah. That's been, yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you for watching the set and stuff like that. You know, I try to act as professional as I can, but like after a while touring together, I'll always end up saying like, hey, just want you to know I'm a huge fan. You know, like, I'm acting professional and everything, but I'm a huge fucking fan. And but yeah, besides that, I have to pinch myself because, again, I'm a metalhead. You know, like I dreamed I could, even in my wildest dreams, being, you know, like Latin American from Brazil. Like it's so hard to make a living. It's so hard, you know, like having a band there in Brazil and succeed with a band. So even in my wildest dreams, I could never imagine I would be touring with my idols. Like truly, of course, I was always thinking like maybe one day I'll be playing Vakken, maybe one day this and this and that. But if you ask me, like, yeah, you'd be touring with Carcass and Hatebreed and Morbid Angel and this and that band. I wouldn't believe.
I was thinking that you were gonna say, yeah, I come on the tour and I bring my Heartwork vinyl for them to sign it for me.
The only reason I don't, it's because like we never have room in our suitcases. We travel with like tiny suitcases for a whole tour.
And you gotta leave room for the gift.
Yes, this is literally something I have in mind right now. Like I'm not even like getting like too many T-shirts and stuff like that because we always end up getting T-shirts on tour, which I love. It's one of my favorite kind of gifts because it's very useful on tour. It's really cool. So I'm always mindful of the gift. So I always make sure that I have extra room for that because of course I want to take him home. Like I have fans giving me tarot decks. Like, of course I'm taking him home, you know, like it's so cool.
That is really cool. I mean, I think you guys have a great fan base, outstanding fan base, and I think it also speaks volumes to you guys, the way you guys are. The first time we met in person was in Portugal at Vogue. You guys were playing there.
Yeah.
I can't believe that I had to go all the way to Portugal to see you guys play, but that's what I had to do, and that's what I did. I went there to see you guys play, and it was
fun, Joe.
yeah, phenomenal festival, and you guys had an incredible crowd too early on in the day.
Yeah. That was actually with Crypta. I think that was the first time we ever played Portugal. So it was a very special. You got a very special set going on there, and that was it. Like there was a lot of people, and I think like Brazilian bands end up having this connection with Portugal and everything because of the language or whatever else. So it's I had high expectations, but when I got there, that was still to date one of the craziest shows. The crowd was insane. It was really, really cool.
Yeah, the crowd there does go insane, especially when a band like you guys comes to town. Because even though you guys are Brazilian to us, you're like almost like, you know, you're a piece of us. So we see you guys as a piece of us, and it's really important for us to support bands that they come from Brazil. I remember back in the day. Sepultura, whenever they would tour, they would always kick off their tours in Portugal because that was the home vibe. And that actually takes me to my last question. As you guys are touring.
That was a fast one.
Well, we have limited time. As you guys are going and starting your careers, if you will, and touring and building a discography, a band like Sepultura now is calling it a day, and they're calling it quits.
I feel it coming.
For me, they're the reason I'm here today. It's them. They're the reason why I got into metal. Love the tattoo. And I'm sure for you has even more of a special meaning. So as you start to blossom into this band that really represents Brazil and represents women in metal, having a band like Sepultura that meant so much for all of us, how does it feel for you to see them now calling it quits?
That's a tough question because, like, they were, again, I was showing my tattoo because, like, Sepultura has a very special meaning from, I mean, a lot of metalheads all around the world, but especially for Brazilian metalheads because they were the band that showed us that it is possible, you know, like being Brazilian and strive just to survive, you know, and then, but still, like, have a band and then live the dream. They were the band that taught me that it is possible to live the dream. Like, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't Sepultura. So it's, of course, I love the music, you know, like Schizophrenia, Beneath the Remains, Arise. They were albums that changed my life, even as a writer too. But it's not only about the music, it's more the message, you know, like the message was like, hey, we did it. You can do it too. And then they made me believe I could. And here I am. I am living the dream because they once believed it was possible. So it's really hard for me to watch them, you know, like go. But also I know how hard it is touring. Not people don't imagine how hard it is touring. You know, like there's a lot of privileges. It's a nice thing being able to live the dream, but it's tough, man. Like, I slept for 3-something hours last night and the night before, and it's not only that, it's a lot of stuff. But so I understand that after decades doing that, it can be tough, you know, like on your mental health. I don't know the reason why they're not breaking up, but, you know, like putting this final dot in their career. But yeah, it's just not easy, you know, like, and I think it's like Sepultura has a beautiful legacy. It's living a beautiful legacy for us. And I really like the idea that they're leaving, they're saying goodbye while the band is, you know, like, is still serving. You know, like, still.
They released one of their best albums ever, and then they call it quits.
Exactly, and it was hard for me to understand too, but I'll always respect, you know, like, their decision, because we never know what is going on in their personal lives, or, you know, like, in their minds, if they have other plans. We never know, and I'm all about respecting other people, you know, like respecting their decisions and everything. So if they think it's the time, I believe it's time, you know, and I respect that. And I'm thankful for what everything they've done.
Let me tell you this. As a kid, I remember watching Arise, and Max was wearing camo shorts. And from that point on, the only shorts you'll see me in the summer is camo shorts. So what I'm thinking is maybe like 2 years from now, 5 years from now, we'll see a new generation of metalheads, especially girls, and they're going to be wearing tight pants like you with the zippers and the cuts and all of this stuff. How cool would that be?
That would be amazing. Like, I know, again, from a metalhead perspective, I know what that is, because I would, in Nervosa, I would wear the camo
Leggings.
Yeah, I would. And it was, of course, inspired by Max Cavalera. Of course it was. So I know the feeling. And even my eyeliner that I do is inspired by Amy Winehouse. It's actually, I stole it from her. I was like, that's too cool. I'm going to wear it. And I've been wearing it for over a decade now. And so I know where it comes from, and that's the coolest thing. And I see right now, I don't want to say that, oh my God, I am influencing people already. It's not from that. It's not that. But I can see already, like, there's at least one girl every night with like similar eyeliners to mine. And they're like front row because they want me to see it, and I make sure they know I notice them, because that's just too cool. And now that we wear like the red like wristbands and stuff like that, we see fans wearing too, you know, like small pieces of like red fabric here and there. Just this is the coolest. I really like it. And I not only is it's cool from, you know, like, because it's cool, but also I really like the representativeness, you know. I think this is really important. Only us girls know how it feels seeing other women on stage. It's a very particular, specific kind of feeling. So I was highly influenced by tons of women in heavy metal and in other genres. So I know how it feels, you know, like feeling represented. And if this small gesture of like wearing a piece of clothing that's similar to what we were wearing, or like same makeup, I know we're also talking about representativeness. And then to me, this is like, okay, mission accomplished. Because if I can be out there doing what I love, but at the same time, maybe somehow encouraging other girls to be out there and believe themselves and trust their dreams, or even like feeling more comfortable in being, you know, like in a male-dominated scene or environments or anything. I think to me, this combination is like mission accomplished. Yeah.
You guys heard it, folks. She's living her dream. The other dream would be to be a backup singer to Beyonce, but that's like down the line once she retires. So, Fernanda, thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Always a pleasure. I love this guy right here, really. Make sure to keep supporting his work, because this is a gem of a person, and the channel is so cool, and media is a very important bridge between what we want to say, and I always have a lot to say, and between, you know, it's just a very important connection between us and the fans, and so keep on supporting.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for watching. Go check out the dates in the description of this video, and go check out these girls on the road. The tour is hitting a city near you.